Have you ever looked at someone winning in life, in business, in health, and thought, how do they do it so effortlessly? How do they keep showing up day after day without crashing, like setbacks don't shake them, like motivation never runs out, like they're wired with something special? It's tempting to think they're built differently, that maybe they have access to something you don't, better genetics, more resources, easier paths. But if you really peel back the curtain, what separates those who rise from those who remain stuck isn't talent. It isn't timing. It's consistency. Not loud effort once in a while. Not random sprints of energy, but quiet, disciplined, unshakable repetition. The kind most people never notice. They're not chasing applause. They're not waiting to feel inspired. They simply do the work, even when the results seem invisible. And here's the part nobody likes to admit. Most people know what they need to do, but they don't do it long enough to see the payoff. They get excited for a week, maybe two. Then something interrupts them. A distraction, a doubt, a delay. And just like that, the fire fades. The effort stops. The cycle repeats. Let me ask you this, and be honest with yourself. How many times have you told yourself, this time will be different, only to give up halfway? How many early mornings, diet plans, study schedules, business goals, or fitness routines have you started, only to watch them fade into nothing? You don't lack the desire. You don't lack the goal. What you're missing is rhythm. That beat of repetition that transforms effort into habit, and habit into results. Consistency isn't some glamorous magic trick. It doesn't shout, it doesn't shine. It's the silent builder, the patient craftsman, the invisible engine behind every lasting success. And the most powerful truth? Nobody is born consistent. You become it. You build it. You train for it. Just like strength, just like skill. It's earned, not inherited. Champions don't rely on being in the mood. They rely on structure. They don't skip when it gets tough. They tighten up. They don't always feel like it, but they always find a way to do it. That's the mindset you need to build. Not for show, not for quick wins, but because your future's too important to keep starting over. So maybe it's time to stop asking, why can't I stay consistent? And start asking, what systems am I building that make quitting easier than continuing? What if the problem isn't your ability, but your approach? The answers are already in you. You just need to learn how to unlock them. And it starts by shifting your perspective. This is no longer about motivation. It's about identity. Who do you become when it's hard? When no one is cheering? When no one notices? Consistency builds champions not by making things easier, but by making you tougher. The choice is in front of you. Keep starting from zero, or start building from the inside out. Which path will you take? Number one, clarity before consistency. You can't stay consistent with something if you don't even know why you're doing it. Most people aren't lazy, they're just unclear. They chase vague goals with fuzzy intentions, then wonder why nothing sticks. The truth is, you can't hit a target you can't see. Before you build momentum, you need a mission. Ask yourself, what exactly am I trying to achieve? Why does it deeply matter? What would my life feel like if I followed through for the next 6 months? No breaks, no excuses? Can you visualize that version of yourself? Get specific. I want to be better means nothing unless you define what better looks like. Better in what way? By when? What does success actually look like in your mind? Champions don't wander. They walk with intention. And when your why is deeply rooted, your how becomes automatic. The more precise your vision, the more disciplined your action. So grab your goals, hold them up to the light, and ask, are these crystal clear or just hopeful wishes? Because without clarity, you're just moving in circles, and circles never lead forward. Number 2, design habits that make quitting hard. If your consistency depends on motivation, you're building on sand. It won't hold when storms hit. Motivation is emotional. It's here today and gone tomorrow. That's why champions don't depend on inspiration. They depend on systems. They build routines so sturdy that showing up becomes the default, not the decision. Start embarrassingly small. 1 page, 5 push-ups, 2 minutes of silence. Your ego will say it's not enough. Ignore it. Simplicity scales. Ask yourself, is my current routine designed to survive bad days? Can I still show up when I'm exhausted, frustrated, or overwhelmed? Don't just design a routine for the best version of you. Build one for the worst version too. Tie your habits to existing anchors in your day. Make the action so automatic it feels strange not to do it. You don't need a perfect schedule. You need a powerful rhythm, one that turns effort into identity. That's how consistency wins, not with force, but with flow. Number 3, master the art of showing up. Here's the truth. Some days you won't feel like it. You'll be tired, stressed, unmotivated, distracted, discouraged. That's where most people fold. They believe their feelings are facts, but champions understand something different. Action isn't a feeling, it's a habit. They don't wait to feel ready. They honor the commitment even when conditions aren't ideal. Because real strength isn't just about going hard when life's smooth. It's about showing up when life is messy. Consistency isn't built on perfection, it's built on persistence. Ask yourself, can I commit to a bare minimum version of my habit for the rough days? Could you still walk even if you can't run? Still write 1 sentence if you can't write a page? Still breathe deeply for 1 minute if meditation feels heavy? This is how resilience is formed, not by crushing it every day, but by refusing to quit on the days you feel weakest. That's the art. Imperfect progress, done faithfully. Number 4, track, reflect, and adjust. You can't improve what you don't observe. That's why champions don't just grind blindly. They step back, measure, and adjust. Tracking isn't about obsession. It's about awareness. It gives you feedback. It reminds you of the journey. It turns invisible progress into visible proof. When you track your efforts, no matter how small, you activate accountability. A simple calendar with check marks, a journal with daily wins, or a weekly reflection session can reshape your momentum. Ask yourself, what habits have I been consistent with? Where have I been falling off? What patterns keep showing up? And what excuses keep sneaking in? When you reflect honestly, you course correct quickly. Review your progress weekly, adjust your approach monthly, and evaluate your growth quarterly. This process isn't rigid, it's responsive. The goal isn't perfection, it's intentional evolution. So don't just hustle, track your hustle. That's how consistency becomes intelligence in motion. Number 5, embrace boredom like a pro. One of the biggest reasons people fall off track, they get bored. The novelty wears off, the spark fades, and suddenly the routine feels heavy. But champions, they train differently. They don't just tolerate boredom, they embrace it. They understand that true mastery is forged in repetition. They know the magic isn't in the new, it's in the done again. Ask yourself, can you stay loyal to the process when it's no longer exciting? Can you keep showing up even when the world isn't clapping? Most people quit not because it's too hard, but because it's too quiet. But champions thrive in silence. They find pride in the ordinary. They turn repetition into a rhythm and boredom into breakthrough. So don't chase excitement, chase execution. If you can learn to love the dull, you'll gain access to a level of greatness most people will never touch. That's the secret. Boring done boldly becomes brilliance. Number 6, forgive the misses, but don't repeat them. You will slip. You will miss a day. And that's okay. Life isn't perfect, and neither are you. But champions draw a hard line. One miss is a moment. 2 in a row is a pattern. The goal isn't perfection, it's resilience. One missed workout doesn't destroy your fitness, but telling yourself I've already failed and quitting, that's the danger. Ask yourself, how do I respond when I mess up? Do I fall into shame and let it spiral, or do I bounce back with purpose? Consistency is not about never falling. It's about rising every single time you do. Forgive the miss quickly, but never excuse it. Learn the lesson, adjust the routine, and get back on track immediately. Recovery is a skill, and the faster you rebound, the stronger you become. That's how champions keep going, not by avoiding failure, but by mastering their response to it. Consistency isn't about being flawless, it's about being faithful. Number 7, become the person who just does it. At some point, consistency stops being something you strive for and starts being who you are. You stop saying, I'm trying to work out, or I'm trying to stay focused, and you just do it. Like brushing your teeth. Like showing up to work. It becomes identity, not effort. Champions don't wait to feel like it, because their habits aren't emotional, they're foundational. Ask yourself, what would it feel like to fully trust yourself? To wake up knowing you'll show up, not because it's easy, but because it's expected from you by you? That's the real win. When consistency is no longer a struggle, but a strength. When others see discipline as extreme, but to you, it's normal. You don't have to convince anyone. You don't even have to prove it out loud. Just live it, quietly, powerfully, daily. That's how identity forms, not through motivation, but through repetition. Become the person who follows through. No fanfare, just facts. So consistency isn't magic, it's a choice. A quiet, repeated decision made over and over again, especially when it's not exciting, when no one's watching, and when you're tired or discouraged. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful. The difference between who you are and who you want to become isn't made in one big leap. It's shaped by tiny, intentional decisions stacked daily. If you truly want a future that's strong, steady, and successful, then consistency must be the foundation you stand on. So ask yourself, what's one small action I can take today and repeat tomorrow that will pull me closer to the life I desire? Start with that. No perfection needed, no ideal timing, no massive overhaul. Just start, then show up again and again. Your future doesn't need flawless. It needs faithful. It doesn't need extraordinary. It needs every day. So begin now, and don't stop. The life you want is built one small win at a time.